Asterisk, Scene 1. The Whispers of the Woods. The town of Willowridge had a silence that spoke louder than sound. Nestled between endless pine trees and a river that looked silver under the moonlight. It was the kind of place where time forgot to move. The locals liked it, that way quiet, simple, predictable, asterisk, but on the far edge of town, where the woods grew thicker and the fog came early, there stood a small wooden cabin. Asterisk, it belonged to Ethan Cole, a wildlife photographer who had come to Willowridge 6 months ago, chasing stories of rare animals and escaping the noise of city life. Asterisk, he didn't believe in rumors, not when the locals said the woods were cursed, not when they warned him never to go beyond the ridge after sundown. Asterisk, greater than, you'll hear it before you see it, the old gas station owner had told him. Asterisk, a growl, low and deep. That's your warning. Don't wait for the eyes. Ethan had laughed it off then. Now, sitting by his window on a fog-drenched night, he wasn't laughing anymore. Asterisk, outside, the forest breathed. Leaves rustled, though there was no wind. Somewhere, far away, a dog or something that sounded like one howled. Long and hollow. Ethan set down his coffee and reached for his camera. The lens pointed toward the tree line, asterisk through the mist. He could almost make out a shape too large to be a stray, too still to be a deer. The camera clicked once, flash, and the thing was gone. Asterisk, the next morning. The town was awake early. Asterisk, whispers filled the diner where Ethan usually stopped for breakfast. Asterisk, 2 men sat by the counter, talking in low voices. Greater than another attack last night, one said. Old Miller's sheep, torn apart. Sheriff says it's a wild dog, but... Asterisk, but what? Asterisk, Miller swears he saw it stand on 2 legs. Ethan frowned. He'd seen plenty of wolves, coyotes, even mountain lions in his work, but none stood on 2 legs. He walked up to them, offering a polite smile. Morning. Did you say something about a wild dog? The men exchanged looks. Outsider, huh? Asterisk, yeah, Ethan nodded. I'm just curious. I heard something last night. Thought it was a coyote. One of them leaned forward. You didn't hear a coyote, friend. You heard it. The hound. That evening, Ethan decided to go back into the woods. Asterisk, not because he believed in monsters, but because every story had a source, and he wanted the photo that proved the truth. Asterisk, he took his flashlight, camera, and a tranquilizer gun just in case. Asterisk, the forest greeted him with a thick fog that crawled low to the ground. Asterisk, crickets sang. Owls called and then silence. Asterisk, it happened suddenly, like the forest had stopped breathing. Asterisk, Ethan turned, flashlight trembling in his hand. Something moved behind a tree too fast for him to catch. He lifted the camera. Flash. This time, the light reflected back to glowing eyes. Asterisk, yellow, watching. A low growl rolled through the fog. Not the kind that warned, the kind that hunted. Ethan's breath caught in his chest. He aimed the flashlight, but the beam hit nothing. Asterisk, the growl came again. Closer than a bark, loud, violent, almost human in its fury. Asterisk. Ethan fired the tranquilizer in panic. The dart hissed into the dark. Silence for a moment. He thought he imagined it all. Asterisk, then he heard it footsteps. Heavy, 2 of them. Coming closer. He turned and ran. Asterisk, branches tore his jacket. Roots grabbed his boots. but he didn't look back until he reached the cabin door. He slammed it shut and locked it twice, heart pounding. He checked the camera. Asterisk, the last picture made his blood turn cold. There it was, a shadow of something standing, tall dog-like head, long limbs, fur dark as night, and eyes that glowed like fire. Ethan barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard claws scratching the wooden floor outside. Asterisk, by dawn, he was sure he'd gone mad. Asterisk, but when he opened the door at sunrise, the ground was covered in paw prints, huge ones, circling his cabin. Asterisk, and in the center of the prints, a single dead rabbit, its neck torn clean. Asterisk, and a small piece of cloth tangled in its fur. Ethan bent down and picked it up. It was from a jacket. His jacket. He hadn't even realized it had been ripped. The growl echoed again, faint in the distance. Somewhere, the hound was still watching, still waiting. Scene 2, the sheriff's secret. The morning sun broke through the fog like a dull blade. Asterisk, Ethan stood by the porch, staring at the paw prints that still marked the damp soil. They weren't fading. If anything, the sunlight made them look deeper, darker, like burns instead of footprints. He couldn't shake the chill crawling up his spine. Last night hadn't been a dream. The prints were proof. The shredded rabbit, the torn piece of his jacket. Something had been here. He took the piece of cloth and stuffed it in his pocket, grabbed his camera, and headed straight for the town. The sheriff's office sat at the edge of the main street, a small brick building with a single faded sign that read, Asterisk, Willeridge County Sheriff's Department. Asterisk, inside. The smell of coffee and old wood mixed with the sound of a radio murmuring weather updates. Asterisk. Sheriff Harold Briggs looked up from his desk, his eyes narrowing when he saw Ethan walk in. Asterisk, morning. Cole, you look like you've seen a ghost. Asterisk, Ethan dropped the camera bag onto the desk. Not a ghost. Something worse. He pulled out the photos from last night and spread them across the table. Briggs leaned forward, his fingers brushing the edges of the prints. Asterisk, at first, he didn't say anything. His jaw tightened. Asterisk, where'd you take these? Asterisk, in the woods, near my cabin, around midnight. Asterisk, the sheriff exhaled slowly. You shouldn't have gone out there. Asterisk, Ethan frowned. Why not? You think I imagined this? Asterisk, he pointed at the picture, the one with the glowing eyes. This is real, Sheriff. Something's out there. Briggs' voice softened, almost to calm. Listen, son. There's a reason locals don't wander past the ridge. Some things in these woods, they belong to the dark. Asterisk, Ethan leaned closer. You know something, don't you? You've seen it too. Asterisk, the sheriff looked at him for a long time, and then turned the photo over, face down. Asterisk, some stories don't end well when you start digging. Asterisk, Ethan wasn't letting go. Sheriff, whatever this thing is, it attacked livestock. It came to my cabin. It left prints. Are you going to tell me that's just superstition? Briggs sighed, rubbing his temples. You ever heard of Marcus Heller? Ethan shook his head. 30 years ago, before you were even born, there was a man who lived up near your cabin. Hunter, kept a pack of dogs trained for tracking. Smart animals, loyal as anything. Then, one winter, something went wrong. People started vanishing. Livestock torn apart. Asterisk, and then one night, Marcus's own dogs turned on him. Ethan felt his stomach tighten. What happened to him? Asterisk, nobody knows, Briggs said quietly. We found his cabin burnt to the ground. Just ashes and bone. But a few days later, folks started hearing howls, like dogs, but not quite. And every full moon since, someone or something stalks the ridge. Ethan felt the hairs on his arms rise. You think this thing is one of his dogs? Asterisk, Briggs's eyes darkened. No, I think it's what's left of him, that night. The wind carried the scent of rain. Asterisk, Ethan sat in his cabin again, the sheriff's words echoing in his head. Asterisk, he transferred the photos to his laptop, zooming in frame by frame. Asterisk, the more he looked, the less sense it made. The creature's outline wasn't just canine. Its shape was human. He paused on one frame. A faint glimmer near the creature's neck. A collar. Asterisk. Ethan leaned forward, adjusting the contrast. Asterisk. Yes, a metal tag. Burnt, rusted, but faintly readable. Asterisk. Greater than Heller. The name sent a chill down his spine. Marcus Heller. The hunter who'd vanished 30 years ago. Asterisk, before he could think further. Something outside hit the porch. Hard. Asterisk, a thump. Then another. Wood creaked under heavy steps. Ethan froze. The air grew colder. His breath fogged. Asterisk, he reached for the tranquilizer gun, loaded another dart, and crept toward the door. The sound stopped. Silence. Then a scratch dot. Asterisk, slow, deliberate, across the wood of the door. Asterisk, Ethan's heart hammered. He steadied his shaking hands and opened the door just a crack. Asterisk, fog, darkness, nothing else. But then he looked down, a single muddy paw print, right at his doorstep. Asterisk, and beside it, a note, folded, soaked. Asterisk, he picked it up, unfolded carefully. Asterisk, the paper was old, brittle, written in smudged ink. Asterisk, greater than you can't save them. The woods already claimed me. The handwriting was messy, almost animalistic. Signed M. Heller. Ethan stumbled back, eyes wide. How? He whispered. How is that possible? By morning, the sheriff came again, this time uninvited. Asterisk, he found Ethan sitting by the fire, eyes hollow, note trembling in his hand. Briggs took one look and cursed under his breath. Damn it, Cole. You found his cabin, didn't you? Asterisk, Ethan nodded slowly. I didn't mean to. It's just a ruin now. But that note, he handed it to the sheriff. Briggs read it, face pale. This handwriting. It's his. Asterisk, Ethan stared. How can it be? He's been dead for 30 years. The sheriff's voice dropped low. Some say he was cursed. Tried to control something he shouldn't have. He wanted to make his dogs smarter, faster. There were rumors he used. Experiments. Ethan echoed. Asterisk, crossbreeding. Blood transfusions. God knows what else. Folks said he wanted to merge instinct with intelligence. Turn beasts into guardians. But he made something else instead. Something that couldn't die. Ethan swallowed hard. You're saying the hound isn't a dog at all? Briggs nodded grimly. It's him. Half man, half hound. A thing that remembers who wronged it and hunts those who disturb its land. Ethan looked toward the woods through the window. The fog was back, thick and unmoving. Something about it felt alive. Asterisk, that night. Sleep didn't come easy. Every sound outside carried a threat. The wind howled, and in that sound he swore he heard words whispered between the gusts. Asterisk greater than leave or join. Asterisk Ethan sat up, breath heavy. His flashlight rolled off the bed and clattered to the floor. Asterisk, and in that faint, flickering light, he saw it. A shadow pressed against the window. Asterisk, too tall for a man, too still for an animal. Two glowing eyes looked in, yellow, burning. Then the shadow leaned closer and spoke, greater than Ethan. The voice was low, cracked, almost human. Ethan stumbled back, tripping over the chair. He aimed the gun, but before he could fire, the window shattered. Asterisk cold wind burst in. The lantern fell, firelight spilling across the floor. Asterisk by the time Ethan looked up again, the shadow was gone. Only the smell of wet fur remained. Asterisk at dawn. The sheriff returned again, this time with a rifle. Asterisk Ethan met him outside, pale and sleepless. Asterisk I saw it, Sheriff. It said my name. Asterisk Briggs's face hardened. Then it's marked you. Asterisk marked me. Ethan asked. The sheriff nodded slowly. When the hound speaks your name, it means it remembers you. It means you've been chosen, not for death, but for the change. Ethan's voice trembled. What do you mean by the change? The sheriff looked at the forest, eyes dark. Marcus Heller wasn't killed by the curse. He became it. And now it's looking for someone new to take its place. The wind carried a howl through the trees. Long, deep, familiar. Asterisk Ethan and the sheriff both turned toward the sound. The forest seemed to pulse with it. Briggs whispered, almost to himself. Scene 3. The night before the moon. The sun fell early that evening. Asterisk. The air in Willoridge carried a strange heaviness, as though the town itself knew what was coming. Tomorrow would be the full moon. Ethan sat by the window, watching the light fade from gold to grey. His reflection in the glass looked pale and hollow. He hadn't slept since the last night's encounter. His eyes burned from exhaustion, but every time he tried to rest, he heard the whisper, asterisk, greater than Ethan. Asterisk, he'd stopped trying to convince himself it wasn't real. The voice wasn't in his head. It came from the woods. Asterisk on the table lay the sheriff's old file. Yellow pages, water-stained corners. Sheriff Briggs had handed it to him that morning before leaving for patrol. Asterisk, read it if you must, he'd said. But once you do, there's no unknowing. Asterisk now, as the clock ticked past 8. Ethan opened the file. Asterisk inside were photos, black and white, of the Heller cabin before it burned. The images showed a man with a beard, strong shoulders, standing beside 3 large hounds. Marcus Heller. There were notes to lab reports, handwritten journals. Ethan flipped through them, the handwriting uneven and frantic. Asterisk, the serum works. The dogs respond to voice commands before I even speak. Asterisk, but the aggression, uncontrollable. The blood won't settle. Asterisk, greater than my body aches. My teeth hurt. Dreams of running, of chasing. Asterisk, if I fail, may the forest bury my name. Ethan's hands trembled. So it was true. Heller had tried to merge himself with his hounds. Asterisk, and he'd succeeded, but at a terrible cost. Asterisk, the last page was dated the night before the cabin fire. Asterisk, the moon is full tomorrow. I hear them calling. Asterisk, if I do not return. I have become them. Ethan shut the folder, his heart pounding. Outside, the trees swayed, though there was no wind. Later that night, he went to the bathroom to wash his face. The water was cold, clear, and silent until he looked up. Asterisk for a moment. His reflection didn't match. His eyes, they flashed yellow. He blinked, and they were normal again. He stepped back, breathing hard. No, it's just lack of sleep, he muttered. But then came the pain, a sudden, sharp sting down his spine, like something crawling under his skin. He gripped the sink, gasping. His fingernails dug into the wood, and when he pulled back, he saw scratches, deep ones, like claws. Asterisk, Ethan stumbled out of the bathroom, sweating, trembling. He tore off his shirt and froze. Asterisk, under the skin of his shoulder. Faint lines of dark fur were beginning to show. He screamed. The sound echoed through the empty cabin, then vanished into the night. Morning came like a cruel joke. Asterisk, the pain had faded, but the fear hadn't. Asterisk, Ethan wrapped his arms around himself. Sitting on the porch steps, the sheriff's truck pulled up just after sunrise. Briggs stepped out. Eyes tired, jaw tight. Asterisk, you don't look good. Son, asterisk, Ethan laughed bitterly. I don't feel good either. Asterisk, he told the sheriff everything. The pain, the reflection, the fur. Asterisk, Briggs listened quietly, then said the words Ethan dreaded. Asterisk, it's starting. Asterisk, Ethan froze. What's starting? Asterisk, the change. Once the hound marks you, it doesn't kill you right away. It waits, it spreads, like poison, till you're one of them. Asterisk, Ethan's throat tightened. You said it needed someone new to take its place. Asterisk, Briggs nodded slowly. And that someone is you. That night, the sheriff made him promise to stay inside. Asterisk, no matter what you hear, don't open that door, Briggs warned. I'll be patrolling near the ridge. If I'm not back by dawn, you run. Don't look back, Ethan agreed, but fear was already twisting inside him. When darkness fell, he locked every window, every door. The moon hadn't even risen yet, but he could feel it, a pulse under his skin, a heartbeat that wasn't his. Asterisk, the wind picked up outside, carrying with it the faint scent of rain and something metallic. Blood, and then came the sound. Howling. Asterisk, far at first, then closer. Asterisk, dozens of voices, rising and falling like waves. Ethan clutched his head. The sound wasn't just in his ears, it was inside his bones. Asterisk, he staggered to the mirror again. His eyes were glowing faintly now, the pupils narrow, animal-like, greater than join us. The whisper came from behind him. He turned, nothing. Asterisk, then again. Closer, right beside his ear. Asterisk, the moon calls you, Ethan. Asterisk, he backed into the corner, breathing fast. His hands ached, the nails thickening, darkening. His teeth felt sharp in his mouth. Asterisk, no, I'm human. Asterisk, he tried to grab the tranquilizer gun, but his fingers wouldn't obey. They curled, claws forming where nails had been. Asterisk, outside. The moon broke through the clouds, full, bright, merciless. Asterisk, Ethan fell to his knees as the light touched him. His veins glowed faintly under the skin. Asterisk, he screamed, but the sound came out as a growl. Asterisk, the pain was unbearable, his bones shifting, his skin stretching, fur sprouting along his arms. Asterisk, he crawled toward the window, the moonlight flooding the room, and then he saw it. In the clearing beyond the cabin stood the hound, tall, towering, watching. Its eyes locked with his, and for a moment, Ethan understood. This wasn't a monster, it was a messenger. The curse didn't kill. It transferred. The hound lifted its head and howled, and Ethan felt the same sound tear from his own throat. Hours passed. The moon sank behind the trees. The woods grew silent again. When dawn broke. The cabin was empty. Only the sound of slow breathing came from the tree line, and two sets of paw prints led deep into the forest. At noon. Sheriff Briggs returned. He found the cabin door open, the fire dead, and Ethan's camera smashed on the floor. On the wall, written in dried mud, were 3 words. The forest keeps. Briggs swallowed hard. Stepping outside, the air was cold, still, listening. From far off, a single howl echoed through the valley, low, deep, familiar. It wasn't the hound this time. It was Ethan, and somewhere, deep inside the woods, another voice answered. Scene 4. The woods. Remember, the sun had barely risen when Sheriff Harold Briggs stepped out of his truck. Rifle slung over his shoulder, boots sinking into the damp soil. The forest loomed ahead, dense, silent, and wrong. For 30 years, he'd avoided these woods. After sunset, he'd told others to stay away, warned them, scolded them, but never once entered alone. Now, he had no choice. Ethan Cole was gone, and the moon's curse had claimed another. Briggs looked around the clearing where Ethan's cabin stood. The door hung open, swinging slightly in the breeze. Inside, everything was torn. Chairs overturned, table broken, scratches across the wooden floor as if a wild animal had fought to get out. He found blood near the window. Not much, just drops, but fresh, and on the wall, smeared in earth, greater than the forest keeps. Briggs swallowed hard. God help you, son, he whispered. Then he turned toward the woods. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. Even the birds were silent. The sheriff followed a trail, 2 sets of paw prints. Large, heavy. One was deeper, newer. The other lighter, older, as if the ground itself had memorized its path for years. Briggs stopped at an old oak tree, its trunk scarred by claw marks. He knelt down, brushing the leaves aside. There, half buried in mud, was a rusted tag. He picked it up and wiped it clean. A faint engraving appeared. M. Heller, the same tag Ethan had found in his photos. A shiver ran down his spine. He pocketed it and kept walking. The path led him to a clearing he hadn't seen in decades, where the Heller cavern once stood before the fire. Now, only its stone foundation remained, covered in moss and vines. As he stepped into the ruins. The air changed, cold, still, almost like breath was being held. Around him, he crouched beside the old fireplace and found something, a book, half burnt but intact. Marcus Heller's journal. He flipped it open. The pages were blackened at the edges, but the words inside were still visible, hurried, desperate scrawlings. Greater than the serum binds to the blood, faster than I expected. I can feel them inside me, their strength, their hunger. I hear them whisper, They call me Alpha, but I am not their master anymore. Asterisk, the moon is near. If I cannot undo this, I must bury myself where no one will find me. Briggs looked around the ruins, his pulse pounding. Maybe Marcus had never left. Maybe he'd buried himself beneath his own home. Asterisk. He grabbed his shovel from the pack and started digging near the old fireplace. The ground soft and damp. Asterisk. After a few minutes, the metal struck something solid. He dug faster, revealing bones. Human bones. Asterisk. And beside them, a collar. The sheriff froze. The bones weren't old. Enough to be 30 years decayed. Some of them were fresh, before he could move. A sound rippled through the air. Asterisk, a low, guttural growl. Asterisk, Briggs raised his rifle. Ethan. No answer. The growl came again, closer. The trees swayed, though the air was still. Then silence. The sheriff turned slowly. Asterisk there. Half hidden by fog, stood a figure. Asterisk, tall, broad, half covered in shadow. Yellow eyes burned through the mist. Ethan. Briggs breathed. Asterisk, the creature stepped forward, its face flickering between man and beast. Its voice came out broken, trembling, half-human. Asterisk, sheriff. It hurts. Asterisk, Briggs lowered the gun slightly. Ethan, listen to me. I can help you. Asterisk, greater than it's too late. The voice rasped. He's inside me. Briggs's heart pounded. Hella. The creature nodded, slow, unnatural, greater than he never died. He waited, in the blood. In the forest, Asterisk, Briggs backed up a step. Then fight him, Ethan. Don't let him win. Asterisk, the creature's face twisted in pain. Its claws dug into the dirt. Asterisk, greater than you can't fight the forest, sheriff. It remembers. Then it lunged. Briggs fired. The shot echoed through the woods. 1, 2, 3 rounds. Asterisk, the creature staggered back, growling, but didn't fall. Instead, it looked at him, sorrow in its glowing eyes. Greater than, you should have left. Then it vanished into the fog. Hours passed. Briggs sat near the ruins, shaking, the rifle empty. The woods felt heavier now, alive, listening. Asterisk, he tried calling for backup, but the radio only hissed. Static, asterisk, somewhere far away. He heard howling, not one, dozens. Asterisk, he stood, turning toward the sound, his breath fogging in the cold. Asterisk, shapes moved in the mist shadows, crawling on all fours, circling him slowly. Asterisk, dear God. He whispered. Asterisk, the pack emerged, silent but for their breathing, eyes gleaming yellow in every direction. Asterisk, and in the center, Ethan, or what was left of him. His body was covered in dark fur, his face half hidden, but his eyes still knew. They met the sheriff's gaze. Briggs lowered his weapon. Asterisk, I'm sorry. Son. Asterisk, Ethan tilted his head slightly, like he remembered the words. The friendship. Then he turned away. The pack began to move, deeper into the woods, like ghosts fading back into their home. Asterisk, and then, silence again. The sheriff stood alone for what felt like hours. Asterisk, when he finally returned to town. He looked 20 years older. He told no one what he'd seen. He burned Hella's journal, buried the bones, and locked the rest away in the evidence room. Asterisk, but that night, when he tried to sleep, he heard scratching at his window. Asterisk, he rose, gun in hand, and saw them, paw prints, fresh, on the porch, and in the distance, one lone howl. Not angry, just waiting. Briggs whispered to himself. Scene 5. The curse spreads. 3 nights had passed since Sheriff Briggs returned from the woods. To most of Willowridge. He was the same old sheriff, quiet, serious, always working late. But those who looked closely saw something different. His hands shook. His eyes seemed darker, reflecting light strangely at night, and he had stopped sleeping altogether. He told himself it was just exhaustion, the aftermath of fear. But deep down, he knew better. The curse didn't stay in the forest. It followed him home. The first sign came with the smell. One evening, as he sat in his kitchen, he caught a faint odor, wet fur, iron, and smoke. It wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from him. He looked at his reflection. In the kitchen window, his pupils were slightly elongated. Yellow glinted at their edges. Briggs slammed the lights off, breathing hard. No, not me. He whispered. He'd seen what happened to Ethan, how fast it spread. He wouldn't let it happen again. He pulled out his revolver and set it on the table, staring at it for a long time. One bullet, one choice, but his hand refused to move. Greater than, you can't stop it. The voice came from the shadows behind him, low, guttural, familiar. Briggs turned, gun raised. Who's there? No answer, only the faint rustle of leaves, though all the windows were closed. Greater than, we remember you. The whisper slid through the air like smoke. He fired once, the bullet tore through the dark. But there was nothing there. When the echo faded, he realized something horrifying. The voice wasn't coming from outside. It was inside his head. By the next day, strange things began happening around town. A farmer claimed. His cattle had vanished overnight. The woman said she saw something running on all fours near the old sawmill. Children found paw prints near the schoolyard, human-sized ones. The sheriff wrote the reports. But each time he looked at the evidence, the smell of the woods filled the room again. He could hear them howls, distant but calling. The forest wasn't content with just one. It wanted more. That night, Briggs drove to the edge of Willowridge and stopped where the road vanished into fog. His breath trembled. He could feel the moon rising even before he saw it. He whispered, Ethan, if you're still in there, stop this. And for the first time, something answered. Greater than, join us. Sheriff. The voice came from the trees, deep, layered, like 1,000 growls speaking as one. Greater than you brought us back. Briggs gritted his teeth. I didn't bring you back. You came for me. The forest keeps. Then a shape stepped out from the fog. It was Ethan, or what remained. His body larger, his face half wolf, half man, but his eyes still gentle, human, trapped. Ethan, Briggs whispered. The creature tilted its head, sniffing the air, then spoke in a broken, rasping voice. Greater than, you shouldn't have buried him. Briggs froze. Buried who? Greater than Hella. The sheriff took a step back. He was already dead. The hound smiled. if that twisted grin could be called a smile, greater than not anymore. Asterisk, from behind the fog, dozens of glowing eyes appeared. Asterisk, the pack had returned stronger, faster, more organized. The air shook with their growls. Briggs fired a warning shot into the ground. Stay back. They didn't. The first one lunged, claws flashing in moonlight. Briggs fired again, hitting its shoulder. The creature fell, but didn't stop moving. Asterisk, he ran toward his truck, fumbling for the keys, but something slammed into him from behind. Asterisk claws raked his back. Teeth grazed his arm. Asterisk, he screamed, twisting, firing blindly. Asterisk, the creature howled and fled. But it was too late. Asterisk, blood dripped from his arm, dark, thick, burning like fire. He could feel it crawling under his skin. The curse had finally claimed him. Hours later, he woke in his house. Not remembering how he got there, his wounds had closed too quickly. His breathing was shallow but strong. Asterisk, and the world felt different. Asterisk, he could hear things, faraway things, footsteps miles off. The heartbeats of people asleep in town. Asterisk, and beneath it all, one voice whispering from the forest. Asterisk, the moon rises again. Asterisk, he tried to resist, but his body moved on its own. Asterisk, he walked to the window, pulled the curtain aside, and saw the silver glow flooding the hills. Asterisk, he stepped outside barefoot, not feeling the cold. The fog parted for him as he walked toward the trees. By the time he reached the first ridge, the forest was awake. Shapes moved between the trunks, silent, waiting. Ethan appeared again, standing at the front of them. Greater than, you fought it longer than most, he said softly. Briggs's voice cracked. Ethan, can you still hear me in there? Asterisk, greater than I hear everything. The forest speaks now, and soon, so will you. Asterisk, the sheriff fell to his knees, clutching his head. I won't be one of you. Asterisk, greater than you already are. The pain came suddenly, like fire spreading through his veins. His hands twisted, bones cracking, fur tearing through skin. He roared, a sound that wasn't human anymore. The hound stepped closer, placing a clawed hand on his shoulder. Asterisk, greater than welcome home. Sheriff. The moon bathed them both in silver, and from the woods came the answering howls, a chorus rising into the cold air. By dawn, Willow Ridge was silent. No birds, no footsteps. Asterisk, only paw prints leading through every street, as if the whole town had been visited by ghosts. The gas station door hung open. The diner lights flickered once, then died. Asterisk, and from the forest edge, eyes watched, dozens of them, patient, waiting. The town that once whispered stories of the hound had become one. The curse was no longer legend, it was alive. And as the morning wind passed through the empty streets, it carried a whisper through every broken window. Scene 6. The last howl, the dawn over Willow Ridge, was pale and hollow. Asterisk, smoke drifted from the chimneys that no longer had fires. Asterisk, doors hung half open, like mouths frozen mid-scream. Asterisk, by sunrise, the town had gone silent, completely, a week earlier. Laughter had still echoed through the diner windows. Asterisk now. Only the forest breathed, deep within those woods. A circle of paw prints marked the clearing, the same clearing where Ethan had once been found. Asterisk, the same place where Sheriff Briggs had fallen. Asterisk, now they both stood there again, side by side, under a dim and dying moon. But they were not men anymore. They were something between fur and flesh, shadow and sorrow. The forest whispered through the pines, greater than it ends where it began. Ethan turned his face toward the sheriff. Asterisk, his eyes were tired, almost human again. Asterisk, greater than I tried to stop it, he said, his voice breaking between growls. But it's stronger every time. The forest, it feeds on fear. Asterisk, Briggs's breath came in slow, heavy bursts. Then we ended. Asterisk, Ethan shook his head. You can't kill the forest. Asterisk, maybe not, Briggs growled. But I can stop us. Asterisk, for a moment, only the sound of wind filled the clearing. The trees creaked like old bones. Asterisk, then Briggs raised the silver bullet. The last one, the same bullet he had made for Ethan weeks ago. Asterisk, the moon shimmered across its surface like liquid light. Asterisk, greater than. If I fall, he said, burn this place. Don't let it start again. Asterisk, Ethan's eyes widened. You think I still have control? Asterisk, Briggs looked away. I'm hoping you do. The forest seemed to listen. Asterisk, shadows moved between the trees, faint shapes. The spirits of those the curse had already claimed. Asterisk, they whispered in a language of growls and wind. Greater than, join us. Feed the moon, asterisk, the voices swelled, rising to a fever pitch. Asterisk, and as the clouds parted, the full moon broke free again, perfect, bright. Merciless, asterisk, Briggs dropped to his knees, gasping. His veins burned, asterisk, his body twisted, bones cracking, fur tearing through his shirt. Asterisk, Ethan staggered backward, holding his head, roaring as the beast inside surged again. The clearing erupted in howls. Asterisk, minutes or hours passed in chaos. Asterisk, when it ended, two figures stood under the blood-colored moon. Asterisk, one was Briggs, changed completely now. A beast of muscle and silver eyes. Asterisk, the other, Ethan, trembling, barely standing, caught between man and monster. Asterisk, they stared at each other, breathing hard. Briggs spoke first, his voice still carrying traces of humanity. Greater than, we finish this, old friend. Asterisk, Ethan nodded once. Together, they lunged. The forest echoed with the sound of claws and roars. Asterisk, trees splintered. Soil tore apart. Asterisk, silver light flashed as the bullet slipped from Briggs's belt. The one meant for mercy. Ethan saw it, and for a brief second, his eyes cleared human again. Asterisk, he grabbed it, shoved it into Briggs's trembling hand, and whispered, asterisk, greater than do it. Briggs hesitated, then pulled the trigger. The sound shattered the night. Asterisk, a single howl, long, mournful, tore through the valley. Then silence. Asterisk, when the sun rose. Smoke curled above the forest. Asterisk, the clearing was empty, except for the ashes of fur and bone, and one silver bullet casing glinting in the dirt. Asterisk, the curse was gone. The whispers stopped, but Willoridge never recovered. Asterisk, those who came later found houses covered in claw marks, windows broken from the inside. They said it felt watched, and sometimes, on nights when the moon is full, travelers still claim to hear it. Asterisk, a single howl, rising from the tree line. Not angry, not wild. Asterisk, just lonely. Years later, the town was abandoned completely. Asterisk, the forest reclaimed everything. The roads, the fences, the graves. A single wooden sign still stands by the entrance, greater than "Welcome to Willow Ridge." The letters are faded, clawed through, and below it, someone carved another message in rough scratches. Asterisk, the forest keeps. As the wind moves through the empty streets, it carries the faint echo of that final night. Asterisk to souls, bound by guilt and curse, who tried to save what was already lost. Asterisk and far away. Beneath the eternal moon, the forest breathes one last time.